Hey friends, so this week we've been reading about a lot of different things. We started the week reading about Groundhog Day. Then we moved on to presidents and we talked about the first president of the United States, George Washington. Now we're actually going to move to another different thing. We're going to read about hibernation. This book is called All About Hibernation. So hibernation is something that some animals do, not all animals. And it's animals that go to sleep for the whole winter. So they take like a nap that lasts from maybe December, January, February, and they don't wake up until the springtime. That's a long nap. I wish I could do that through the winter. All right, let's read all about hibernation. This book has a lot of information in it. Let's read all about hibernation. When winter weather settles in, many animals migrate to warmer places. Migrate means they fly or they travel or they walk. They go a long way to get away from the cold weather. Other animals stay put and hibernate through the cold winter. Animals that hibernate find a safe place to stay, such as a burrow or a cave, and they fall into a deep sleep. They stay in that shelter until the weather is warm again. So this looks like a nice place for a little chipmunk to hibernate. A little burrow or a little tunnel he made. During hibernation, animals do not eat very often, and some do not eat at all. All animals that hibernate eat lots of food beforehand. So when they know it's almost time to hibernate, they eat a lot. This way, they do not have to find much food during the winter, or they can sleep through the whole season. The food that animals eat lets them store brown fat. I wonder what that is. This is a thick layer of extra fat that helps keep the animals warm while they sleep. Okay. It also protects everything inside, like their heart, their organs, their heart, their lungs, their stomach, all of those things. It keeps all the things inside their body from getting too cold. Animals know when it's time to prepare for hibernation because of a special chemical in their blood. So something that's inside their body, something that's in their blood just kind of tells their brain what to do. Tells them, hey, it's almost time to hibernate. You should probably start eating a lot of food and getting ready, finding a place to hibernate and being ready because winter's coming. There are two types of hibernators. There's true hibernators, like a hedgehog, that sleep so deeply that it would be very, very hard to wake them up. So they are in such a deep, deep sleep. If you saw one and you went over and said, hey, Mr. Hedgehog, wake up, they probably wouldn't even wake up. Look at that little guy, all curled up. This reminds me of The Snowy Nap by Jan Brett. Other hibernators, such as bears, are lighter sleepers during the winter months. So if you ever saw a bear hibernating, don't try to wake him up. They can wake up easily. The body temperature of a true hibernator, so like someone one of the animals that's sleeping so deeply that you can't even wake up, drops while they sleep. So your temperature, like if you take your temperature on your head, your temperature is usually like 98 degrees. If you were hibernating, your temperature would get lower because everything about you would slow down. Your heart would slow down, your temperature goes down because you're ready to go into deep, 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 deep sleep. The heart rate of true hibernators, this is what I was just saying, falls to a very slow pace. So if your heart was going ba-bum, ba-bum, ba-bum while you were just sitting, when you're hibernating, your heart would go ba-bum, ba-bum, ba-bum. So slow, so slow. And the animals only take a few breaths per minute at most. So they only take like some deep breaths like this. And then they wait, and they might take another breath. So they're sleeping so deeply. Woodchucks are true hibernators. During hibernation, their long teeth, which they normally keep short by gnawing on plants, stop growing. So woodchucks have teeth that grow, and when they're always chewing on stuff, their teeth don't grow too long. But while they're sleeping, they're not chewing on anything, their teeth stop growing. Cold-blooded animals like frogs and snakes bury themselves in the ground before they hibernate. The earth keeps them warm and safe until spring comes. So they bury themselves deep, 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 deep down so they can be like in a nice blanket of mud and dirt and stay warm in the winter. Cold-blooded animals, their blood inside them is cold, so when they're nice and warm, they can move around and have fun. But if it gets cold, their blood is cold, so their blood gets cold too, and they have to move very slowly. So it's probably a good idea for them to hibernate. Then nothing can get them and try to eat them because they'll be moving very slowly if they were awake during the winter. Some fish, like the Antarctic cod, hibernate in winter. The fish's heart rate slows down and they rest on the sea floor until spring comes back. So I didn't know that some fish hibernate. Bats, ooh, look at all these bats. Yikes. Bats are true hibernators that must find a shelter that stays warm enough all winter. A cave where hibernating animals gather is called a hibernaculum. So that's a place where animals might go to hibernate. Estivation is something that's kind of like hibernation, but only for animals that live in the desert. So remember, the desert is hot, hot, hot. So that's weird. Why would animals want to do something that's kind of like hibernating in the desert? Let's find out. When there's long periods of drought, so that means when there's no rain for a long time, some animals do something that's like hibernating. And that's how they survive. They say there's really no water coming and I'm getting thirsty. So I'm going to do this thing called estivation, which is like hibernating. And they go into a deep sleep because they need water and they can't have it yet. So they need to sleep until there will be water for them to have. So these animals find a safe place to rest. They don't eat a lot of food. And their heart and their breathing slows down. So they need to hold off until the desert gets a little bit of water. Remember, we learned that it does not really rain and there is not a lot of water in the desert. So sometimes they have to wait a long time. After several weeks of hibernation, the animals wake up very slowly. The animals will then remain active. They'll hunt, they'll move around and sleep normally all the way until next winter. Until then, they'll have to prepare for hibernating again. The end. Oh my gosh, friends, that book had a lot of information. I'm so glad you guys stuck with me and listened to this hibernation story and learned so much about hibernation. I didn't even know that animals in the desert did something that was kind of similar to hibernation. I had no idea, so I even learned something new today. How exciting. All right, friends, I'll see you later. Bye.